Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Excel Boats. Along with the Dr. Tim Lang, I'm Lyle Stokes, and Cindy is here to spin the Rig Rack prize wheel. Over this way. There you go. Doc, it was a great time last week down at PK.
Yes, it was.
That's a long trip for me, and it was further for you.
Yeah, but I had a good time. Just could not figure that lake out. Generally, I can figure, after about 2 days, I can at least establish some kind of pattern. Never happened. Steve and I could not do it. I don't know why.
We was the same way. We fished that thing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we never did get it figured out. I think we figured out something on Saturday afternoon late, but man, some of them guys really figured it out, and one of them was Dave Studebaker and Andy. They had 13 pounds or something like that going into day one, and the second day, he put 70 some pounds in the boat, and that was a heck of a weigh in. They really got with it and had a great day, come in second place. And congratulations to those guys. I didn't know the winners, but I understand they're fairly local to that area. They've done a bang-up job with nearly 100 pounds. And for down there, from what I seen, that was outstanding. But I got to tell you, Doc, you guys left a little earlier than we did. That lake got really, really windy Saturday.
Yeah,
it was rough.
Getting windy when we were out there, and I know Steve's got that big boat anyway. It's like a sail.
That's right.
As far as comfortability and fishability, that boat's nice. It's I was comfortable in it.
I was hoping to get the ride in that after you told me about Steve getting the new pan optics from Garmin, and I really wanted to check that out. But with everything going on, and you know how that is, we get tied up with visiting with people, and man, did we have a blast down there doing that. But I really wanted to check that pan optics out, and maybe the next time I see Steve or somebody else that's got one. But from what you told me, that's a very impressive piece of equipment. I'm anxious to see what they look like.
It was pretty slick. We watched crappies moving from trees to trees. The whole schools, you could see their tails moving. And then we seen this one big fish. We don't think it was a catfish because Steve put a bait right up in front of its face, and it just kind of looked at it. And then he swam off, and you could see his tail moving as he was swimming off. It was pretty impressive.
That is impressive to be able to see that. I really love my 360 I have with my birds and stuff, but that is all one unit put together. And there's Jerry Dillard in there. Jerry and his dad, John, was down there. Man, did we have a blast visiting with those guys. We stayed beside Dave Studebaker and Andy on one side of us, and some really nice folks from the Texas area on the other side of us. And right next to them was John and Jerry, and then down from them was Adam Johns, which is a guy that watches our show all the time. They was awesome. But one of the people that I met down there that I've known online for a long time, and we're going to get this gentleman on our show. His name is Jason Spud Barton. Him and his fiance, what was her name? I can't remember. We talked to so many people.
He introduced her.
Man, what a swell guy. Just absolutely super nice guy, very knowledgeable about things. He does a great job guiding at different lakes down around Waco. I really enjoyed visiting with him. Like I say, we're going to set him up now that we're back and get everything lined out and get him on the show with us, because he's just such a blast, and he's going to bring her in with him, and we'll have a great show visiting with them. But I got to say, I have to give a shout out to Dave and Andy for helping us out. And I'm not going to exploit on that because people might take it the wrong way, but they helped Cindy and I a great deal. But Cindy fixed them a kind of a meal one night, and I'm pretty sure they enjoyed that. But we had a really, really fun time down there visiting with everybody. We got to do the show Monday night. By the time we was doing the show, you was just now coming in off the water. You and Steve was hitting it hard, man.
Yeah, we were. I thought we could get something going on Monday, and then I looked up, and I'm not used to it was a different time change for me. I was thinking I had till 8 o'clock, and here I was in Central Time and
Yep.
just messed up. But
Hey, it's all good. We had a great time. They had a great venue down there. They had new internet in it. Now, we was the first one that tried that internet out, and we had a couple little issues go on with it, and then they had a couple of things happen on Friday, but by Saturday they had it lined out. And my understanding, I haven't got to watch any of that stuff, um, but I understand that they had it dialed in come Saturday, and the whole program really well. They kept the fish back behind there. I didn't see any of the tagging that was going on. I was kind of interested in watching some of that, but as well as I do, when you're in there to them places and you're visiting with people and they're coming over and wanting to talk to you and different things,
yeah,
and you end up doing some of that stuff. Well, quite a bit of it actually, and that's part of that we enjoy the very most is interacting with the people, especially ones that watch our show and stuff. And it was really, really a fun time down there. But uh, that lake was, I never figured it out. The things that we do normally when we fish lakes like ledges and drop offs and rocks and structure, it don't apply down there. And people
no,
had told us that. Remember, they told us
yeah,
anything we knew about fishing, just forget about it. And
yeah.
that was right. It just didn't work down there. But I never have been anywhere in my life that has that many trees in it. I mean,
Oh, I know.
holy crap! And
And
I
it
remember
didn't
what you
matter
told
where
me.
you went.
No, it didn't. I remember what you told me about how many rigs that you guys had lost down there, and it
Yeah,
was unbelievable number.
Trees in my sleep.
yeah,
Oh, Cindy says she's still counting trees in her sleep.
yeah.
Uh, but the only place that I seen that there wasn't any trees was right in the main channel of the river, and I never marked a fish in the channel, not one time.
Right. Steve and I talked about it. That if you kind of take a look at it, and I don't know if we said anything to you about it, but it reminded me of the Tennessee River, uh, where the Brazo River, run through the center of the lake, and it just
Right.
meandered all around everywhere. Had nice ledges, nice deep water in areas over there called, what they call that, Hell's Gate. Is that what the
Hell's
name of
Gate.
that thing? That was
Yep.
85 foot of water over there.
Yeah, that's the only place, the only arm of the lake that we didn't go. We didn't go to that arm, and we wanted to. Cindy really wanted to see that, and we was so focused on trying to find fish that would work that we just didn't make it over there, because I knew at some point we was going to get them. We was going to find them and get them to go, and it just didn't pan out for us. But that happens sometimes. I don't care who you are. If you say that every time you go out you catch a bunch of fish. Well, you might be kidding yourself, but you're not kidding anybody else, because everybody has those times. And
No,
this was just ours, and that's okay.
we got pounded. But I had a good time because I got to hang with Chris Flores from Muddy River Catfishing. And then his partner's name was Frank Morales. And he's got a YouTube channel called Morales Texas Fishing. And that guy was an absolute trip. I mean, he was so funny. And you talk about somebody that guy could eat and he could cook. But, he must burn off his food because he would eat and constantly be eating.
Oh man, I love a guy like that, because they keep you going. Sonny,
Yeah.
it's hard to say, but I will never say never about going back down there. But we had such a great time. It's kind of like going to a lot of the places that we go to. If I didn't fish, I might just go back just to visit with people. But if I go to a place, it's hard not to fish. I mean, you gotta go fish. You just have to. But we did have an absolute ball down there. Uh, and I thought that we'd figure them out. We did it, but maybe the next time it'd be different. Maybe the conditions would be different. Maybe you get the fish to go. So I won't say that I would never go back, but I got to tell you, it was a long haul down there, and
Yeah.
you're not feeling good sometimes, and you got to do all that driving. Of course, I got Cindy to help me. You was by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you was completely by yourself. Morales, Texas Fishing says, I am still hungry.
Frank, there's Frank. What's going on, bro?
Oh man, I know you guys was in that house and you always having a good time. And
Oh, some of the
Lisa,
stories he was telling, just oh man.
Steve said Lisa bought a 5-gallon bucket full of candy and you guys ate all of it.
Yeah, everybody was coming. It was like Halloween at the place, man. We were just hitting it.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know it was a great time at that campground, and the cabins was a little tight. Um, they had 2 nice big beds in them, very comfortable place to sleep. Ours was pretty clean. Boondocks had good food. But the Boondocks food was outstanding.
Oh
Great
yeah,
place to go.
And the
very yeah.
Oh yeah, awesome. The captain's meeting. The fish they fried down there was absolutely. You know, when them boys down there, when Brian and Skinny and all the guys talked about how great that lady was at cooking that fish, they wasn't lying. The food was excellent down there. But like I say, we had a great time. But
Those guys did a great job. I mean,
they did. They put together a really good program.
Really, yeah, it was really, really good. Very few glitches. Everything kind of went. The launch in the morning, that was pretty outstanding. I wasn't ready for those fireworks to be firing off.
No, I wasn't either. That caught me off guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. No, Cindy didn't fix those cinnamon rolls. She's got to be on a diet and she hasn't been fixing any cinnamon roll. It's kind of tough to get a cinnamon roll or a chocolate chip cookie out of her here lately, but that's okay. You know, we got things going on that we was worried about, and I can relate to not having them as bad as I would like to have had some at that camp. If she'd have fixed cinnamon rolls, that's all we'd have done. It had people running in and out after them because she usually takes a couple pans with us when we go, but she did it this time. But Boondocks was a great place to eat, and the PK One Stop was a great store to stop at if you needed stuff going back and forth down there.
You know, people just don't realize there's nothing around. My grandkids said, "Well, Grandpa, why don't you go to McDonald's for in the morning?" I said, there wasn't no McDonald's. The only McDonald's was like 53 miles away. You know, it was one of the areas that, I got there here in Ohio. It doesn't make any difference where you go. There's like a Dollar General around the corner of something. And this was the first place I'd ever been where there was not a Dollar General.
There was no Dollar General. Well, this is a local, very tight-knit community with everybody getting along down there and had a wonderful time. And I was impressed how that, like he was saying, they had that going so smooth, and it just was really nice to see that pulled together like it did, and everybody getting along and having a good time. And
Texas people they're really nice people.
We had a wild boar run out in front of us on the way back.
Oh, really?
Our GPS took us down there through mainly main roads, but on the way back it cut us up through where we missed a couple of towns and some stuff, and we was driving along there, and I wasn't running very fast, and boom, this big old boar running off the side of the road, and I hit the brakes, and I thought, man, that's the last thing I want to hit is that big sucker. He probably weighed 350 pounds. This is a big one. And but yeah, there was Dave had pictures of some all-dead sheep that he had seen down there. We seen deer a couple times. A lot of wildlife around the lake, and lots of ducks and geese too. It's pretty cool.
The only bad part, the yellow jackets are like flies around that place.
But they don't sting you.
Well, they were busting me.
Was they?
I still got welts.
No kidding.
Blister bugs.
Oh yeah.
Did you see those blister? Oh, them blister bugs.
Ooh. I don't know what the blister bug is, but now Cindy did find a black, looked like a black water bug, but it wasn't a water bug, but it was about that big one morning. But other than that, we didn't have too much trouble. The time that we had spent in Texas years and years ago when I worked down there, there was lots of fire ants, and I didn't see any of them, which thrilled me because them fire ants, they'll put a hurting on you. So
Yeah. But
Jerry says him and his dad both got stung a few times. Never seen them like that around there. The guy that was running the campground, him and his wife said they had terrible year with them things this year. So I'm not sure what it was.
yeah, yeah, that blister bug, it would land on you as soon as it touched you. Then he'd start drilling his head into your skin, and that's why they call them blister bugs, because he's immediately start bringing blood.
Oh, I wouldn't like that. Journey says
Yeah.
there's a bunch of bees in his boat.
So
Them goat heads.
and I were beating them out of
Jerry,
here.
I'm not sure what a goat head is. Yeah, Carl Wells went to a place down there called Mary's in Strawn and talked about the chicken fried steak. Doc, he said that things are like this big around, just falling off the plate. And we was going to go over there, but after the weigh-in and everything, I had to get dog taken care of, get things loaded up, get ready to go, for the next morning. But, there were some great fish down there caught. John Adams caught a really nice fish. Brent Riddle caught one. Big flathead was caught.
Just wasn't
Brad Shoemate. Yeah, Brad Shoemate caught a 40-some pound new lake record down there. And, they had a great time. And I was, like I say, very impressed the way things.
Eddie White, he caught a nice blue.
He did catch a nice blue. And a lot of them guys went up the river. Every morning, you knew the guys going to river because it was a steady line of looked like 100 boats heading up that river. And that river's not very deep and it's not very wide.
We didn't even go up in there.
I went up the first day, Tuesday, and we never went back. There's just no reason for me to be there. And I know they caught some good fish there, and maybe that was where we made our mistake, but there just wasn't enough water up there for me to be interested in it. It is what it is, but maybe next time we give it a try. We say we spin the old rig wrap prize wheel, Doc.
Okay, let's do that.
Give me a number, buddy.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the winner is Melanie Green. Congratulations, Melanie.
Here in Ohio, up in Huntsville.
Yep, lives over there close, don't she?
Yeah.
Can't see it? We'll push it this way. No, over, not up. I'll be into it if you get it close. There we go. Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Melanie, if you'll contact James R. Wood at Hooker's Terminal Tackle and tell him you won some Reaper hooks playing the Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game, he will get them right out to you. Thanks so much for watching the show. I know you watch every week. And James R. Wood, thank you so much for being a sponsor to our show. We appreciate it so much. And we used them Hooker's Terminal Tackle hooks all week last week, Doc. And we didn't have any problems with them because we didn't catch no fish.
No, but I donated enough to that lake.
Yeah, we did do a little of that too.
I think I caught every tree that was out there.
No, you didn't, because I had a couple where you wasn't at, and I got those. The winners of the Possum Kingdom CatMasters was JT Raniff, Diane Raniff, and Ronnie Raniff. They got first place with 96.58 pounds. Second place, 84.84 pounds, Dave Studebaker and Andrew Malini. And third place was Chris and Kylie Baldwin with 80.81 pounds. We've had Chris and Kylie on our show. We need to get Dave on our show. And Andy, they was really super nice guys. Dave runs a great tournament series out in Kansas, puts tournaments on all over out there and does a wonderful job. And like I say, he done some things for us that we really appreciate. Had a wonderful time visiting with him. I'll never forget, Doc, he went to town and bought some braid. And we sat there outside the cabins at the picnic tables. And I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm getting my skipjack rods out and I'm putting braid line on them. And that's what I'm fishing with. He said, I'm not catching anything but little bitty fish, and I'm having a hard time because the rods are too heavy for them little fish, and he's using his skipjack rods to catch his fish with. Yeah, I thought he was funning me, but I don't know what he used to catch them ones on Saturday, but whatever he was using, they was the right ones because it worked. I mean, they had a great day. They had a great day, and like I say, I don't know the winning folks. And they was across the room for us when they was doing the weigh in, and I didn't get to visit with them. I wished I've got a chance to, but congratulations to those guys. And of course, Chris and Kylie been on the show. What a great couple they are. We got to visit with them a couple of times down there. Just super nice people, and they done a bang up job as they usually do. They fish really well down there. But we met a bunch of new people. That was the first time that we've been in Texas since 1985. And of course, when we was down there, we was working, and we met a lot of fishing folks from the Texas area. Enjoyed that very much. And there were several guys that we only get to see a couple times a year. Like, we haven't seen you that much this year, and we got to see Steve and Chris and his partner and Lisa and just a bunch of other people. Really enjoyed visiting with Jerry and John Diller Day. Was a lot of fun. And Carl Wells was down there, him and his wife, and they're always a blast to be around. But it was just
coming up and saying, one guy came up, he said, "Man, I enjoy your show. Keep it up." He said, "Even if you guys don't have guests and stuff like that," he said, "just talking catfish is enough for me." So
right. Tony DeBuff was down there. What did he end up getting? 8th place or something like that?
So
Ishcummers was down there. It's always good to see Jerry and Hannah and Noah and Rachel and what's Mama's name? Cindy. Nikki. Yep. I almost forgot. I can't believe I forgot her name, but we sat and visited with them for a little bit. They're always a blast to be around. And I don't remember, don't mean to miss people his name that we seen down there, but it's just so hard to remember everybody. Daniel Mata was in. My buddy Steve Johnson, I took the trolling motor off of our tracker boat and took it down there and loaned it to him so he could use a trolling motor down there. And of course, it's been setting for a while. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you get down here and that trolling motor won't work because I didn't test it or anything. And he used it all week down there, got along just fine with it. So it was always great to see Steve meet his son and his partner. Drove all the way from California to Texas to fish that tournament. Great bunch of folks down there. Aaron Churchwell was down there. Got to visit with him a little bit. Like I say, it's hard to remember everybody. And I met some guys down there. Actually, they asked me to take a picture of them outside of the weigh-in, and their name was Stokes. And they was asking me about this guy and that guy. I said, man, I don't know. I'm from Missouri. I don't know any of them. There's not very many of us, so there can't be too many that's not, but related some way or the other. But that was interesting time for me. And there is a Stokes down there that does a TV show, and they was actually cousins with that guy. So that was kind of interesting. And Chad Ferguson was down there. Like I say, John Adams
on the interviews.
Yeah, he did. He did a very
really good job.
Yeah. Yep. He really did. Done a great job, man. I've met him before, but I forgot how tall he is. Holy crap, he's a big boy. He's a big old boy. We'll get Chad on the show one of these days.
Somebody had a question. Shad was a beta choice. Yeah, and the bait wasn't, and it was big too. We caught some big, what I normally refer to as sumo shads that are about 18, 19 inches long and about 2 to 3 inches thick. That's what we were getting. That, and I caught a 5-pound bass that was in the cast net, because when I pulled it up, I told Steve there's something really, really big in here. So, and did you see the post where Steve got picked up by the Arkansas State Patrol? But he said he wasn't sure, but the guy was a YouTuber.
That's awesome.
And he just wanted to shake Steve's hand and meet him personally. So that's pretty cool.
That's way cool. John, thank you so much for watching our show. I'm glad your dad told you about it. Um, Cliff Miller, do you think that they will get 300 boats for Texoma? They're 100 and right around 140 or 100 less.
165, I think.
They're
Yeah,
like
I thought it was
135 or 140 left to get to make it. So I honestly think, in my mind, I'm saying when they reach the 200 mark, that last 100 will start going really quick. Now, whether they'll make the complete 300 or not, I don't know. It's going to be close if they don't. I think that's a lot bigger lake, a lot more well-known lake, and it's known to have big fish, so it's very possible that they could make it. If they don't, we're still going to be there, and a lot of other people are going to be there. The only thing that I see that could be a deterrent for that is the weather. Like I say, that far south in Oklahoma and northern Texas, it could be snowing, it could be raining, it could be 90 degrees. You just don't know, and we're not going to know until January gets here. You know, and in between now and then, we still got winter blues on Wheeler. So I know a lot of people was talking about that down there, and it's coming up. So I don't. As far as the 300, I'm not sure. I anticipate they'll get it. I mean, I think they will. I think that 300 is very doable, and you know, time will tell. But I think the weather's going to play a factor in it. But they're not that far off.
They run a good tournament.
They do a great job. I got to tell you, Doc, and you know this as well as I do. Those guys, they work together so well.
Yeah.
Brian and Skinny and James and I can't think of the other guys. And boy, I'm really struggling with names tonight. But they really do a great job, and they all get along really good. Everybody is happy for what they're doing, and they're putting some programs together that, in a way, nobody else has ever done it before. So yeah, they're doing a really good job, and I'm proud to be associated with them and call them my friends, because they work really hard to try to make that go really well. And we had a wonderful time down there doing a show with them. They was all wore out. They've been setting stuff up all day, and they still got up on the stage and done some interviews with me. And Skinny and I give away some stuff. And Brian, he got up there first, but again, they're pulled him away to get things done. Rush at the last minute to try to get it all put together. But very impressive way to go. And one thing that I didn't realize was going to happen down there was limited phone service, and where we stayed, there was no internet.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. So, you know, I probably I was up late last night trying to catch up on messages, and hell, I still got tons and tons of them that I haven't even got to yet. When you're gone a week, that happens. Yes, ma'am. Catfish Cabela's Classics in 2 weeks. That is correct.
Yep.
Doc will be there.
Yep.
Doc will be there. So that's awesome.
Hopefully I don't do as bad on that lake as I did at PK.
I'm guessing you'll probably do a lot better there.
We got a little more experience there, but you don't ever know. You know, I'm going to get. You know, one of the guys asked me. He said, "Man, don't you feel bad that you didn't even catch one catfish?" I said, "Yeah, I feel bad, but hey, I made memories."
That's right.
That's a memory I can keep. Yeah, I got skunked on PK.
You know what? We drove down there, and Cindy and I had one of the most enjoyable trips. Visited going down there and coming back. You know, it was a long drive, and we stop a lot. My back and legs get to bother me and stuff, and if one of us don't have to use the bathroom, the other one does. Yeah, I know, mostly me, but it was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed it. We got to see stuff that we haven't, like I say, we haven't been in Texas since 1985, so it's changed a little bit, but it's still Texas. I mean, it really is. But it was a lot of fun. It's just a long drive, and One of the things that I would like to see in catfishing is a professionally run tournament series at some point, to where they have 2-person teams and not allow 3 people. I know that that's a family type event. I got that. And there's plenty of those tournaments around, but a professionally run tournament series would be 2-people teams and high entry fees. And, but theirs is set up for the family events. And like I say, done a bang up job. Cindy's going to spin me out.
Yeah, I seen that wheel moving.
Yeah, give me a number, baby. Hey, give me a
You're
number.
not talking to me.
1, she says. No, you're not. I'm not. Brian Hergen, Harrigan. Spinner up. Brian, you have won yourself some whisker sticks. If you'll contact the good folks at Whisker Sticks LED Lights, they will hook you up with some of their great products they have. They're a great light. We use them. Doc use them. I use them. We do use them for all the kinds of different things. You're going to love them. And thank you so much for watching the show and playing the Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game. And Lena and Tim and all of you guys over there at Whisker Sticks, thank you so much for being a part of the prize wheel. You guys have been on it since the very beginning and been sponsoring our show for a long, long time. We appreciate it so much. All right.
It's kind of interesting, some of the rigs that were being run that over the weekend. A lot of people, some people did really well dragging. Evidently, they found some areas where there wasn't enough trees to eat hardware up. But and then, I know there was a lot of people that were anchored, fishing in 1 to 2 foot of water, which was interesting, because I had a local tell me. He said, if you're fishing for catfish on this lake, you got to throw out all the river knowledge that you have and think like a bass fisherman. That's what the guy said.
Well, I have to agree with
bass
you.
Fisherman and beat the banks. And I'm going, what?
Well, like I say, after having a year under your belt, maybe we'll do a little better next time. Hello, Heather. My daughter's watching the show. She watches from time to time.
Were there very many using planer boards? Yep, we seen the planer boards. They were all over everywhere.
They was all over everywhere, and you'd see one bob down and they come back up when they hit them trees and hang up. See
Snap
several of them doing that.
And then you have to pull everything in and go back and
get them. That's right.
Yeah, it was different. The wind got first couple 2 or 3 days there wasn't a whole lot of wind, but
it was very nice. Come the weekend, it got tough.
Yeah, it was cranking.
It was. I don't know how bad the wind was Saturday.
Water temperature was 72 degrees.
That's correct. But the wind was it was really brutal Saturday afternoon. It really was.
Carl Wells used big catfish bobbers, 1 foot leader, throwing against logs. Caught 4 the first day.
Wow, that's pretty good success there. Muskrat Adventures probably still planer boards out there. That could very well be.
Was the wind pushing the length of the lake or the width? It kept changing. Most of the time it was running the length, but this lake curved it's like a snake. It just it curves all around everywhere. There were some areas you could get out of the wind, and then there wasn't areas where there was no way to get out of it.
Yep, that's exactly right. One thing for sure, Doc, those rig wraps and the Rig Pack 60 saved a lot of time retying all of the stuff that we stripped off. Because we went through some rigs and stuff, and I'm kind of glad actually that I took both of my rig packs, the original and the Rig Pack 60, because that way it kept me from running out. But I remember what you told me, that you took a whole package of hooks down there and was down to what did you tell me, 9 or something?
Three or four left in it. Yeah.
3 or 4 left out of a whole package of hooks. So that's just an idea of how many. There's T-Med Alexander. We got to meet him while we was down there.
Yep.
That was really cool. Do you get to fish with your daughter? Yes, we did. She goes out with us and her son every once in a while, and we get to go fishing. T-Med said he had to refill his Rig Pack 60 twice while he was down there.
I did mine. I spent one day filling mine back up. And actually I got home and I've got to do it again before I go to Alabama. So tomorrow, that's what I'm planning on doing, is to fill my rig packs back up.
We got in, what was it? Thursday night, Friday night. And I sat out there and I come in with I used a bunch of rigs. I tied all the rigs back up and Friday night, and I still had to tie rigs and put on 6 rods that come in without any hooks, and filled everything back up Friday night, and we was ready to go. So, but yeah, I don't think I went through as many as you and Steve did.
Whew, man, we were, we just kept, working and working. I did feel sorry for Chris because he got down there and he got out on the water. He was there on Monday. Was it Monday? Was it Monday when we got down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And his boat immediately broke.
Right.
The steering, the rotary steering snapped. And he put the boat on the trailer, and they had a mobile mechanic, a mobile guy that could come around and work on boats. He contacted that guy. The guy showed up. It took him 2 days to get it fixed because he had to go get the parts and all that. And then, I was telling the story that I had one of those go bad, but his was round. His was a rotary. Mm-hmm. Mine was a rack and pinion.
That's what mine is.
Yeah. And so, and I had one go out in one of my other boats, and I replaced it. And, like most men, I didn't read the instructions or anything. I just stuck the thing in there. I just wanted to get it in there. So took it down on the river. We launched the boat, got out there. I went to turn to the right, and the motor went to the left.
Yep.
And then when I turned it to the left, the motor went to the right. Well, that was even harder to get back on the trailer because you had to think backwards and I had current, and I'm sitting there trying to get that on there. Well, then Chris tells me they got out on the water after the repair and it was backwards. And people were looking at him like, does this guy know what he's doing in this boat? So he kind of went through the same thing that I went through.
Yep. And Chris is now in the show. Welcome, Chris Flores. We was just talking about you and your experiences down there. If I remember what Chris told us, Doc, this is the second year in a row he's got down there and had boat trouble.
Yeah.
So, but man, what a great guy. He's just so much fun.
Every time he puts it on the water, it breaks.
Oh, man.
But he hangs right in there. Him and Lisa, I think, spent one day sitting there watching movies.
Yeah, probably so. I was still getting over that 5-gallon bucket of candy they ate down there.
Oh, yeah. It was a great big deep Tupperware thing. I mean, it was filled clear to the top, and by the week's end, all there was little scragglers in the bottom.
It was great visiting with Chris and his partner, and of course Steve and Lisa, and you guys wasn't but what 30, 40, 50 yards up the street from us, and we could walk back and forth and do all that. But it was a great time. And when you put, I think where we stayed was probably had the most concentration of catfishing folks. And when you put that many catfishing people together, you're going to hear some BS. You're going to hear some lies. You're going to hear some truths. But you're going to have a great time. And we did. We did. We sat out there that one night, or it's a couple nights or three, and we would sit at the picnic tables, and people bring chairs up there, and we'd have a beverage or two, and talk about fishing, and we'd talk about shows, and we'd talk about rigs, and we'd rewind stuff, and that's some of the most fun that you can have. If the fish don't bite, you're still having a great time.
Yeah.
So it really was fun. Hey, Doc, I want to mention this before we get off talking about something and I forget it. It is the last part of October. And last year we done the first annual holiday spectacular. And we're going to do the second annual holiday spectacular. So any of the sponsors that was involved last year or any new sponsors that want to be involved in our holiday spectacular, get a hold of me. We'll start getting things lined out, and you can send the products in, or you can send me a sample of what you want to give away. We will be talking about products that's going to be given away November 4th, November the 11th, the 18th, the 25th, the 2nd of December, and the 9th. And we'll have our big show and give away all the products from all the sponsors that wants to be a part of it the 16th of December. That'll give us a list over a week to get all that stuff shipped out so everybody can have that. But if you remember, we had a great show. We had a lot of fun. We give away a lot of prizes last year.
A bunch of stuff.
It was a bunch of stuff, and I hope that we have the same success that way, and a whole bunch of other people get involved with that. We're really going to try to get it put together, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And it's right before Christmas, so everybody will have a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, we gave a lot of stuff away last year.
We did give a lot of stuff
Our
away.
Our sponsors stepped right up and just
we talk about it a lot, but I've seen a lot of people do a lot of giveaways and stuff. But man, in the last 5 years, we've give away thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And if it wasn't for our viewers that watch the show, and if it wasn't for the great sponsors and people that help us do that, we'd never be able to do it.
Yeah. So we do appreciate you watching, hanging with us. Keep asking the questions. We'll try our best to answer, about any questions that you have.
That's right. And one of the things that helps us with these sponsors is when you guys get these prizes and you post pictures up on our Facebook page. Trust me, those sponsors all see that and they appreciate it. And we try to tag them in the post. Cindy is really good about doing that. And it makes a world of difference to them guys that way, that they know that you're getting the products, you're watching the show, and you're happy to have them. And all the sponsors appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for doing that.
Yeah, you're right, Glenn. We did have over 200 people in chat. It was packed.
It was. And it went on for quite a while.
Yeah. We didn't anticipate the length that was going to go.
No, and we tried to hurry through it, but realistically,
we did it on Monday. We did it through the week, I thought.
I don't remember.
I'll have to find the.
Yeah, we'll have to go back through there, but once the people start sending in the products and signing up for it, we'll start talking about what they're going to give away in their products and everything, and of course, Glenn will be part of it with Rig Wrap. He's always steps up and does. My gosh, they give away so much stuff down there over the weekend. And I got to see they give away a bunch of Christmas Fishmas stockings at PK this year. And, that's what made us think it's time to start preparing. I mean, we're a month and a half out basically, because we're at the end of October. So you got November and December, and there's nobody hates to go to Walmart and see a bunch of Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving, but it's that time of year. So we all got to get prepared.
Yep. David from Doc, can you Doc, can you have a generator running and battery charger on battery while trolling? Yes, you can. Most everybody, that's how they do it. So, I run my trolling motor generator sitting there, I don't do a whole lot of night fishing, but if I do night fishing, I just put big lights, clamp them onto the boats, and that generator is. I know Jerry Ishcomer runs his generator all the time, and I know a bunch of people that do it. Jeff Dodd, there's several people that are always running generators and running the trolling motors. It's one of the best ways to kind of keep, your batteries up. So
I don't ever run my batteries down. I mean, you remember we was in that Monster Cat. We never run the batteries down in it. Never did in this Alumacraft. Now, Steve told me he borrowed my 24 volt off of my tracker, and he said that by the end of the day they was getting weak. Well, I've had them get weak before, but I've never had them go all the way dead. And I mean, that's used them all day, and we spot locked a lot this last week, a lot. And then that new trolling motor, Steve said that old motor, after I had it worked on, he said it was very successful about keeping the boat where it needed to be. But it's easy to do in the wind. It's like in current. They lock in and they stay where they're supposed to be, and they stick really good. And that wind's just like having current. They just suck right in there and do really well.
I'm anxious to get out in my boat because I've got a brand new Rodan on the front of it, and I haven't had an opportunity. I've been gone so much.
Yeah, you have.
To mess with it. So
and you're leaving this week, and then it'll be gone again next week.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you.
Enjoying my retirement. I really am. I am really enjoying my retirement.
That's why you work your butt off all your life, and at the end of your working thing, you're supposed to be able to go out and enjoy yourself and go fishing. And I know you're going to play golf this week. That's not my thing, but I know you dearly love it, and you're going to fly out. I didn't know you was flying out, but that'd make a lot more sense than doing all that driving, especially after you just drove back from Texas. Yes, Cindy. Yeah. Doc, pick me out a number between 1 and 5.
Number 3.
Number 3 it is. 1, 2, and 3. The winner is Ken McCarty, McCarty. You want me to do it? No? Yours. I knew that. Easy Sinker Slides. Ken, if you will contact me after the show with your shipping address, I will get them shipped out to you. Thanks so much for watching Catfish Weekly and entering our Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game. Glenn, thank you so much for everything you do for our show. It's a privilege to have you on here. You help not only Catfish Weekly, but a lot of tournaments and a lot of other people out with what you do, and it means the world to our industry, and thank you for everything you do. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah, everybody, I use a Honda 2200. It's a Honda generator, but I use it for everything. That's what's kind of nice, if somebody has a breakdown or something, you can bring the generator out there. You can run drills. You can run anything on that thing.
And they're quiet.
Yeah, it don't make hardly any noise. You can sit here and talk, have a conversation just like Lyle and I are, and it doesn't drown you out.
All right. I have a big generator. We'll basically run our house if we have storm outages or whatever. But it's not quiet, and you're not going to lift it in the back of the boat. It'd take a hoist or 3 or 4 pretty good men to put it in there. I can load it in the back of my truck, but man, is it a job. It really is. It's really heavy, and it makes more noise than any of the new boats. It's just too big to be in a boat. But the ones like you got and the ones like Jerry's got, they're very quiet. They don't take up much space. And let's face it, it doesn't take very much electricity to run one of them little battery chargers.
No.
They don't require a lot of juice. So.
No. So, and the nice part about this Honda generator is I can run it 2 days, and that's running 8 hours a day. I can run it 2 days till it runs out of gas. So,
what do you use to sharpen your hooks? Adam, I don't sharpen hooks. When they get dull, I figured I've already got my use out of them, and I just grab a new one. But they do make some fish hook files you get from different companies. Mm-hmm. I don't know right offhand who they are, but I have seen them. but usually I'll break them off before I'll ever.
Well, the other thing is the circle hooks are hard to, for those of us that use circle hooks, a hook is hard
They
to
are.
sharpen
They
because
are
they
now.
turn in. They're not straight out like a
Right.
normal KO hook or something like that you can get a file to. So,
But now I do check every point when I'm sitting here filling my rig rack pack up. When I snell those hooks, I check the point on each and every one. And it doesn't seem to matter really what brand that it is. You'll every once in a while find one. It's usually not over one, maybe two out of a 50 or 100 pack that just doesn't feel sharp enough. And I have a regular file here and I'll touch them up to where they're better. And if I got to do much work to them, or say the eye's gapped open and I can't get it in a vise and squeeze it down where I feel comfortable, I just throw them away and get a new one. I don't want to miss a great fish because something's wrong with a hook. So that's the reason I do that.
One of the, let me throw it up here real quick. How do you check for a sharp hook? Well, what I do is I put it on my nail bed, and if it scratches it, then it's okay. Just be careful that you don't bring it to the end and then you stick it through the end of your thumb. So that's experience talking.
Glenn says you need to print "bite me" on every hook. Believe me, they do bite me every once in a while when I'm snelling them up. But this is the first time, last week is the first time that I can't remember that I've downsized stuff to try to get fish to go, because usually I don't downsize. Once in a while, I'll put a little smaller piece of bait on, but I rarely ever downsize. I downsized everything. You know, we was using bigger, going slower when we was dragging, going faster. We tried everything. Like Doc said a while ago, everything that you ever knew about catfishing, when you get the PK, you throw out the door because it's probably not going to work, and it didn't. But still, like I say, is a great time down there, and those boys do a heck of a job. They're some outstanding guys, and I think Texoma, if the weather will hold, I think it's going to be another great time.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we don't struggle like I did on PK.
Well, you know what? I don't think we will, but if we do, that's okay. We're still going to have a good time.
It is what it is. That's my job. That's what I do. Fishing is my job.
That's it.
I'm on right now for 2 days. I'm on vacation. Then I go back to work.
Doc, Glenn says you're going to be getting an ER bill in the mail.
Yeah.
So, tried to use
I've stuck myself enough times with it.
Oh man, I have too. But if you don't stick yourself with a hook once in a while, you're probably not doing enough.
No. I've seen enough people bury them in their thumbs, have to go to ER.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, I carry a pair of a little miniature cutters so that I can, if I bury something, I can cut it off and get it out. Generally, I won't stop fishing. I'll just work with the hook.
It's rare that you go and spend that much time at a place and somebody not get injured. Cindy actually did get cut this weekend. It had nothing to do with fishing. It was on our suitcase, of all things. Pulled it out of the truck and sliced her finger. She's still fighting it. Put that liquid bandage stuff on there. It really caused her a lot of grief over the weekend, but she never missed a day. Caught the only fish that we caught, she caught. She was on them. So,
Steve was doing a great job catching stripers.
Yeah.
Man, he caught that one striper. It goes 17, 18 pounds.
Yeah, that's great.
We thought we had a pattern because we pulled up in these trees, threw back, and it took off with it. And it was funny because we're both sitting there. We're both saying it out loud. Have a forked tail. Have a forked tail. And then I looked over at Steve. He goes, "This is a good fish." I said, "Yeah, but he's got a flat tail."
Oh.
What? He's got a flat tail.
Oh, man. We talked several times about Cindy being able to run a boat and drive the boat and do all the stuff. She's been really practicing hard about backing the boat in whenever we go to the lake, usually through the week when there's not too many people there. But in all that traffic the other day, she backed that trailer in for me to load that boat and backed her right in. I loaded right up, and we was out everybody's way, done a bang up job. And that's one of the things that these ladies that fish, you need to learn it all. You need to learn how to drive the boat. You need to learn how to read the electronics. You need to learn how to back in and get how far you need to back the trailer in. Get ready. These women tournaments are coming up, and get ready. It's just all it takes is practice. It's not rocket science. There's none of it hard to do. And after you do it a few times, it'll get easier for you. And I was glad that she done it. Usually I'm sitting there cringing, watching her back in, but there were so many people and so many boats down there I didn't get to see very close. And I called her. I said, is that you in line? Because there were several boats the color of yours and mine. And she said, yep, it's me. I'll be going up there in a little bit. So I start working my way up there. By the time I got up there, she had her backed in. I just loaded her up. We was out of there. And
backing on the road, though.
oh, she had trouble backing out of the road. That parking lot was pretty tight. It really was. There's a lot of boats down there. But yeah, done good. So that's one thing for you ladies to bear in mind. Just keep practicing and get ready, because them tournaments are coming. There's going to be a lot of them.
And sometimes the guys need to practice.
There was a lot of guys down there that needed to practice.
They had all kinds of issues.
They really did. Things happen. That's just kind of part of what we do by doing it. Doc, how about a tip of the week for the night?
Tip of the week. Well, everybody knows that I like to use demon dragons and stuff like that. Here's the old trusty demon dragon. But one of the things that I do use with the demon dragon, and I'm using it more and more, are these chain swivels. These chain swivels will not produce any line twist. And I know the demon dragons have a tendency of wanting to spin, especially when I'm on Wheeler Lake and I'm using a great big skipjack head. They do want to revolve.
Yes, they do.
And it creates line twists, and it creates all kinds of issues. But if you drop in one of these ball chain swivels, that will take care of that issue. And a lot of people say, well, I don't like tying knots, or I don't trust my knots. Well, need to learn how to tie a knot so that you can trust your knots. When you trust your knots on these things, it's not a problem having a couple of knots on a chain swivel. So, and that's Doc's tip for the week.
That's a great tip. I've used those things. The only thing that I have an issue with them when I use them chain swivels or even regular swivels, if I make my leaders too long, Cindy rolls them up in the first guide, the tip of the rod, and then when I go to release them, I can't release them, or I throw the bait off of them or something. So I'm either going to have to tie shorter leaders up for the ones that she does, because she's a little vertically challenged, and she wants them up in there. But she most of the time she casts her own bait now and does all that stuff. But
these chain swivels I'm using, they're twice as big as the regular chain swivels. These are a great big chain swivel.
And where did those come from?
Jason Mathena got these for me.
Everything about Jason is big.
It's big. Yeah.
His hands are huge. But he's lost a lot of weight. So proud of him for that. He's really good. Bead for stopper. That's a great idea, Stephen. I'll probably have to do that, because I got aggravated a couple of times when I go to release them. We was dead sticking, spot locking and dead sticking on top of fish down there. And you go to release it, and boom, you got a bird's nest because the swivel's up inside there. So yeah, we're going to have to start doing some of that kind of stuff to keep her out of there.
Okay, Mike Lewis. Okay, Doc, Lyle, what is the one thing that you would do different at the next PK tournament? Carry
I would probably check
grenade
more areas to fish, and we had a plan of where we wanted to go, and we expanded from that, but I think we needed to expand even more than what we did after the first couple of days that we wasn't doing very well. I think we should have looked at shallower water, at deeper water. And I'm not a fan of fishing shallow water because you hang up so much. But a lot of people caught great fish in some shallow water, and some of them was in deeper water and done a lot better. And I think that's what I would do, would expand my territory and water depth,
And catch fish.
and can try to catch some fish.
Try to catch some fish. That's right. Yeah. Actually, I'd like to try to catch a bunch of fish. So, but
Yep.
what knot do you use? I just use a regular fisherman's knot. What do they call it? A trilene knot?
Trilene knot. Yep.
Yeah. I'm old school. So,
Yep. I use that knot for years, have no issues with it. But my favorite knot to use, and it's not handy for everything, is a Palomar knot.
yeah.
I do love a Palomar knot, but sometimes the trilene knot is just so much easier to use because you don't have to grab up a leader and everything and shove it down through, or the Palomar knot where you make your loop. So it's really good. But I think we figured out a rig and something that would work, and I would try that rig again when we go back, just because we done so much spot locking on top of fish, and the spot locking in all them trees.
Yeah.
I think is the way to fish those trees out. We did still lose some stuff, but it's not as bad as some of it. So round is the shape. You are correct, Cliff. I've been round for several years now.
Yeah.
Put a tracking system on Chris Baldwin's boat. That's a great idea, Carl. Chris and Kylie, they catch some fish down there. They do very well, and great folks they are.
And what's bad about those trees, they're cedar trees, and they're unforgiving. I mean,
Yes, they are.
It's almost impossible to drag something up through them. They just reach out there and grab.
Yes, they do.
I pulled enough of them up out of the mud. I pulled a few of them out of the mud, and even when I had them in my hands trying to take the hook out, the tree was real rough. They're not a smooth tree at all. They're real rough, and they grab hooks. They grab everything.
They grab sinkers. There was a time or two, Doc, that we had dragon weights on, and we didn't change them, just fished with them. And I seen Dieter Melhorn do that in a video one time, and I believe what he said was he just didn't want to take the time to do it. I think he worded it a little differently, but he just didn't want to take the time out to take the dragon weight off and put a regular sinker on. And my theory down there was if it would hold, it would work just fine, because a weight is a weight. We was suspending off the bottom a little bit, and they didn't hang up near as bad as some of the other sinkers did.
Yeah.
So
and there was times where I was fishing without any weight whatsoever.
No, I didn't try that.
Yeah, I did some of that. I lowered that down in the trees. I didn't get hung up, but I didn't catch any fish either.
Well, there was a lot of guys that didn't come back for the second day if they didn't do any good on the first day. We went down there to fish. Whether we caught stuff or not, we was having a great time. We was down there to fish. We fished both days. You guys fished both days. I understand if you're not doing any good, you want to get back home. It's a long way for a lot of these guys, but we've been flooded so much this year. We was happy to be out on the water, and like I say, we had a great time. That's why they call it fishing and not catching. I mean, you don't always do well, but it makes you appreciate the times when you do well that much more.
Yeah. So, but next year if I go back, it's going to be. I'm going to take a lot of hardware with me.
A lot of hardware, and I think there's. Muskrat Adventures says he likes to use the pencil sinkers, and I think they're a great option down there in all that structure, because I don't think that they get hung up as bad as some of the other stuff. And yes, Dwayne, I did say doo-doo.
Yeah, Cliff Miller on one bite can be worth a lot of money, and it was for Aaron Churchwell. Is that right?
Aaron Churchwell and Daniel Mata.
They got tired of catching small fish, so they went after the gar, and he caught a big gar. Ended up taking the Calcutta for the gar.
$3,500 worth of Calcutta money on a 3,300 on a 17-pound gar.
I knew I was in trouble when I looked at the Calcutta board and I saw all that money going towards the gar.
Yep.
I went, oh man, these people must like their gar, because nobody was putting in on the striper.
Nope.
Everybody was putting money on that gar.
Yep, it was. Folks, we got some comments in here that you really enjoy the show. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind, please share this with your friends and stuff so they can either watch it on YouTube later or come back and watch the show live with us next week. We appreciate you guys so much for watching it. We enjoy doing this. And yeah, Stephen, that's right. $3,300 for a gar, but it was a giant gar. It really was big. And they worked hard to get it. So, but yeah, we appreciate you guys so much for watching. We and all of our sponsors that helps us out. And don't forget about the holiday spectacular coming up. Hopefully we can put together another great giveaway for you guys. You know, I know these guys will step up. They always do to help us out. And we're going to make a great show for you with that. And thanks so much for watching Catfish Weekly.
We appreciate it. Lyle will be going solo next week because I will be in Rogersville, Alabama.
No internet.
No internet. So hopefully I'll be smoking some pigs.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing pictures and your posts from that. I know you're going to have a great time down there. Who did you tell me you was fishing that with?
Ken Lewis.
Ken Lewis. Absolutely.
Yep, my Durcat tournament director.
That's great. You can take it his boat, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah. You guys will have a great time down there, and it'll be awesome.
Like yours, Lumacraft.
Yep. You'll love it. You know how they are.
Oh, yeah. It's a good boat. I like it. And he just bought a new truck to pull it with.
Hey, that makes it even better.
Yeah, so he called me on the way home.
Cool. Good deal. Well, listen, we'll see everybody next Monday night. Thanks for watching Catfish Weekly. Please remember our sponsors when you go to make your purchases. And Doc, have a safe trip flying out there and
appreciate it.
Playing golf.
All right. Everybody, we'll see you next week on Catfish Weekly.